Are you ready?
No, it's never stopped me before.
Let's go. Late winter, 4722. A path amidst the winter wall glacier. The cold air billows around a figure, thick robes billowing in the wind. Their very breath crystallizes and dissipates as they press onwards through the snow. Darko, would you like to describe your character?
A dubiously, let's say, 20-something-year-old, undefined gender being with black hair flowing into spikes with frosted white tips. Their robes, something more akin to a kimono, we could say. Definitely not fit for a snowy environment. Holding a staff with a spiked glove and simply ignoring the frost. Your
Just
eyes red, but your skin pale.
just toughen out the frost.
Yeah, not a single shiver.
Ah. You hear a voice beside you that you are all too familiar with. I very much hope my intuition is right, dear.
I hope so too.
And here I will ask, is this figure usually summoned? Like, do they walk alongside you, or do they normally stay in your
It's
head?
it's more up to them than it is to Azidan.
Okay, I will say in at this moment, as they sort of say that, they appear beside you. Would you like to describe your companion?
More, the most important detail is they float beside them more than walk.
Mm.
Not for a necessity or a preference. Their blue skin contrasts with the Ezreden's kimono as they lean a hand on their shoulder. Their apparent lack of clothes doesn't really seem to be a problem for the lack of detail. More, not akin to dragon scales, but patterns around their body seem to adorn them, not like tattoos, because they are more physical.
Mm.
Their hair flows, you could assume from the wind now, but or maybe even without the wind, it would just flow as if.
Okay. As the two of you walk and float along, she mentions, "I believe the inner sea has what we seek. We simply have to make it there. Are you doing all right?"
I'm fine with your help. You do not need to worry.
Good. I wouldn't want to be bringing us all the way out here, all the way over to the inner sea, just to have something bad happen. I suppose it's worth it if we're successful.
Yes. Anything we can try is probably the course that we must follow.
Can you do me a favor and roll me perception check as you sort of walk along this road? 7 and a 15. Glacial speaks up. Says, "Wait, something isn't right." She points over towards the west, at the rocky, icy ridge. Over the ridge, you can just barely make out something coming towards you with bat-like wings. Roll me initiative. Creature rolls a 20, 14. So, generally, how combat works as a whole is every creature as a base gets 3 actions. So, for this creature, As it approaches, it is going to use an action to stride up to its speed. It is then going to use a second action to stride the rest of the way. Do you think, actually, before I have it move all of the way over here, do you think Glaciel would sort of move in between you and this creature once?
The first thing they would do is smoothly swap positions to have the enemy in front of her instead of
Okay, then I will let them start over here instead. And they will, the creature will get up over to them and will make a strike with their claws. And a 12, I believe, is going to be a miss.
Yeah.
AC 18, yeah, that for sure is a miss. And that is going to be all of the creature's turns. So it is now your turn. With your 3 actions, you can use them for yourself or your summon in any order that you so desire. The both of you share actions. And once a turn, you and your Eidolon can do something at the same time with act together, which means that while one of you does an action that costs as many actions as you want it to, like if you took 2 actions to cast a spell, then the other can take a free action to sort of do anything once a turn.
So wait, free action, is it still using like from the economy or?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, so once per round. So say if you used like Protect Companion or something like that, or Ignition, any of your sort of spells on your spell list here, then your Eidolon could make a free, just take a free action to do anything. That's 1 cost.
So I think the first thing Azidan does is take a few steps back. Azidan will start concentrating to boost Eidolon, and then in that same sweep, Glacial will attempt to hit the monster.
Ooh, a 22 will hit. Roll damage. As the kick lands, the creature cries out and sort of tries to flap backwards away from Glacial. You have 1 action left. Was that your act together?
I guess so. I thought that was 3, but I can't count.
That was 3 actions. That was a stride, boost, and an attack. But one of those can be your act together, so you can get another move. Because you get that once a round, so there's no reason to really not use it, unless you really don't have anything you can do.
Can Glacial attack again?
Yeah. Attack again, but click map -4. So you kick again and hit again. Roll damage. Holy shit. And with that, it is now the Ice Mephit's turn. Oh, the creature's turn. Smiles.
I don't know what that means.
This is okay. And it is going to take an action to put just a little bit of distance in between as it tries to escape away from Glaciel, who just kicked it in the head twice.
The Chun-Li assault, yeah.
And it is going to use its breath weapon. It's going to open its mouth and release a cone of icy cold towards your Eidolon.
It should be resisted, unless I have resistance.
You have the resistance.
Okay.
Go to your sheet and
My sheet?
just roll the reflex save.
Mine are there.
Glaciel's, excuse me. 17, that is going to save. And with a swift movement, Glaciel is able to get out of the way of the attack as the Ice Mephit runs out of actions. It is now your turn again.
What's the spellcasting limit in this game? Can I only cast 1 cantrip per turn?
You can cast as many spells as you want as long as you have the actions.
Okay, so for my first one, Azidan will move his staff aside and snap their fingers at the monster.
Ooh, ignition.
Attack and not roll damage.
Yeah, attack.
Right.
24, that is going to hit. So now roll damage. 8, and with that, the ice mephit is going to spark into flame, and you notice that this is particularly effective as it is turned to ash and drops to the ground.
Does fire persist, or does it just stay, does it just turn into ash and the fire, disappears?
It just turns into ash. Like, it is, hold on, let me have it take the damage, as it dies. Congratulations on not dying on your first combat as well. In fact, not taking any damage on your first combat.
Azidan will just, dust off their kimono as the glacial returns.
You are able to move around Glacial, right? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I did it right. Well, that wasn't too bad.
There's been worse.
And with that, the two of you continue south towards the inner sea. 2 years pass as Azidan travels southward in pursuit of Glacial's hunch. As they pass through the Eye of Dread, a region composed of both monster and man, they begin to hear tales that may just confirm the two's feelings. Stopping at an inn within Braganza at the edge of the Eye of Dread, they are approached by a gruff-looking gnoll who walks up to you as you sit in the tavern part of this inn, sort of eating your dinner, more than likely. Sits beside you and says, surprised to see someone of your stature here in Braganza. What leads you here?
They'll just, clear their throat. I'm not quite sure what you mean, but there's something that we think we might want here.
Heading down towards the inner sea, I presume?
Yes.
So you've been chasing those rumors then?
They just, take another bite of their food and just look at them without quite saying a whole lot.
Not a talker. Understandable, not everyone is. Well, if you're looking for something, it's brought a bunch of adventurers by. A place by the name of Martyr's Hollow, just sort of south from here. Well, south and into the ocean.
Glacial and Azidan will share a look and look back. What exactly are the rumors, if you'd like to share with the traveler?
I knew you'd come around. All right. There rests on this island a giant chasm. Within that chasm lies stories of wealth and wishes and wonder. Riches beyond compare, swimming in gold. And all you have to do is brave your way through and get down to the bottom. At least, that's what people are saying.
In theory.
We've seen travelers come down from the north before, going off these same rumors, wanting to bring back a loved one or earn an eternal fortune. Everybody has their own aspirations, but it's been drawing a lot of attention. Doesn't surprise me if you're another one of them.
How many of them do you here usually find what they're looking for?
Well, not a lot of... I've heard of a lot of people going there, but haven't heard of a lot of people coming back from there.
That's fine. Haven't really come this far to just walk away.
I'm assuming you got your own deal about you, so I'll leave you be. You just simply looked a little lost.
I do appreciate they like take a moment to think of a word. Assistance.
Of course, of course. It isn't often that, we get anything other than oozes or, fae down here, so anybody else is a welcome sight. And he sort of gets up, and you notice that he's sort of stumbling away towards another table, looking to bother another group of people. He was a sight to behold.
Little spirited.
We should get to bed. We have much traveling to do tomorrow.
Yes. They'll finish their meal and just silently move over, trying not to get drawn into another conversation.
And with that, the two of you begin the last leg of your journey down to Augustana, where there is a port, and sort of the closest port to get down to this land heard of in these Knowles tales, Martyr's Hollow. Another week or so of waiting, and you've scored yourself a ride along in a ship with several other adventurers who are also trying to make their way to the Hollow. It's rowdy, and the both of you are put up to some manual labor to sort of keep the ship running, filled with trade goods and stuff like that. And as you make landing at the port, you step off the ship, do the last of what you're required to do, sort of moving boxes and barrels off, and make your way up into the town as you are brought into the Gold Rush City just outside of Martyr's Hollow. It is busy here. Very, very busy. You see many a bustling adventurer, and for some place that, the Knoll sort of made it sound like nobody ever comes back from here, but with how lively everybody is, it's hard to really believe that, as there's a bustling marketplace, several makeshift inns and taverns sort of litter the town as adventurers settle down to tell their stories. You also notice several adventurers looking not very healthy, sort of pale in the face or under their feathers. They sort of amble about rather than keeping up with the busy atmosphere of the city. What would be the first thing that Azidan and Glacial would do?
Try to, instead of just like asking people, they would try to go into businesses and like buying like a trinket or a knickknack or something, try to get information from them rather than like go in the public and encounter someone they don't want to talk to.
All right, so you make your way into an assortment of businesses, and you notice that some of the buildings around here are sort of guild houses where they essentially make insurance deals with adventurers who want to go down into the Hollow, knowing that it is a very, very dangerous place. So they help adventurers get supplied, send them down, and, well, reap the rewards if they make it back. One particular establishment that you find yourself standing outside has a sign above it that says Mortician's Aid, and it's a fairly small building with a small attachment to the back side of it that you can see is probably used for like housing, like somebody's house attached to the business. And from behind you, you hear a voice say, "Oh, are you interested in the Mortician's Aid?"
And then I will turn around and stare at them dead-eyed. And I'm not really quite sure what this place is.
Well, come on inside and I can tell you all about it. And you see in front of you a blonde-haired elf with sort of gothic clothing and a gem-imbued ribbon sort of on her head, smiling at you, and her hands are sort of put together in front of her, and she is putting on. You can sort of tell immediately that she is putting on a face.
Yeah.
She is in sort of customer service mode right now. So, would you like to come inside?
Azidan just kind of shrugs and lets them lead them in.
Bringing you inside, you look around the room to see sort of banners and trinkets, all with a sort of skull theme to them, along with a couple actual, like, skulls. Do me a favor and make a religion check. A recall knowledge religion check.
And I just click roll. No, don't touch anything else.
Change the roll mode from public to blind. As knowledge checks are mostly made blind. So if you get a critical failure, then I can feed you fake stuff.
I see.
And if you would like, you could also roll one for Glacial. Immediately, Azidan can't really make heads or tails of it. It is off-putting, to say the least. But Glacial sort of speaks up as she notices she can recognize some of the particular figures and like the way they're arranged and stuff. And she speaks up to say, a follower of Pharasma. And Lilith turns around and smiles still on her face. Yes, yes. In fact, I am a cleric of Pharasma. I surprised to see that you're so keen on that. And she sits down on the other side of the desk and holds out her hand to the one chair that's in front of it. I apologize to the two of you. I only have one seat.
Azidan will sit down, and Glacial, without blinking an eye, will just sit on their lap, like legs to the side. Also, I want to add to when they're talking about the deity. You know when like you're a kid and your mom is talking to a stranger and you have no idea what they're talking about?
Yeah.
It's like that. I feel like had I succeeded that role, they still wouldn't have known a whole lot about the details. Maybe the name.
I also want to just make sure, because I've been playing it this way so far, but as far as like Glacial talking and doing stuff, since she's a much more involved companion than like your typical animal companion or something like that, would you rather be talking for her and like doing that sort of stuff for her?
I hold a strong stance for player-owned like talking characters that I'm fine with either like trading off turns with them talking and me talking for them like as needed.
Cool. I just had been doing it so far because I had like the starting stuff written for them, but I wasn't sure because
whenever you want, you can do it. But I will also be doing it somewhat in the future.
Okay, yeah, I'm totally fine with you just sort of taking over for that from here on out. I just wanted to double check because I've had different things from different people when it comes to like their companions.
Yeah, well, if you ever have something to say, feel free.
I think the only time that it will come up that I will be sort of taking her is later with your archetype stuff. With the one that you chose.
Yeah.
So That will come into play then. But I will hand the reins over to you then. So, I'm glad that the two of you who came in here to hear me out. Are you adventurers looking to go into the Hollow?
They will share a look, and Azidan will speak. I believe so. She had a hunch that there was something here that we might want, and so we made the trip.
Perfect, perfect. What would that thing that you're desiring be? If it's not too personal, of course.
I would rather not say.
Perfect. Okay, just looking for something then. Um, well, what I am currently in the business of doing is getting a group together to head down into the Hollow. In fact, a couple groups together to head down into the Hollow. And I'm looking for adventurers with a particular set of skills to actually conquer this Hollow.
I see. The mention of companions is immediately disheartening, but they do not vocalize it as far after that.
Do you think it would show sort of on their face as
It's
well?
only a little bit.
Only a
It's like
little?
just
Okay.
like a tiny amount, enough to notice, but not like.
Okay. So Lilith notices your apprehension. It's like, now I know we've had previous a couple clients come in worried about the same party situation, sort of wanting to go down themselves, but with the dangers that lie below, you can be assured that it is much safer to go in as a small group rather than alone, or sort of she motions to the two of you. For example, there may be some things that others may be better at than the two of you. We've had a couple people come in who are tough individuals, to be sure, and there is no shortage of monsters down there that a good front line would be able to help with.
And then we'll look at Glacial at the word frontline and then look back. Sure, I assume people here know better than I about this kind of thing.
Well, is there any questions about the Hollow that you may have?
Is there some sort of virus going around? I saw some not very upbeat adventures.
Ah, yes, that. And her wide smile sort of trends downward, and she says, there is a curse upon the Hollow, and it's the main reason why I'm looking for adventurers to go down and conquer it, because many have given their lives, and it would be best if this place, well, was taken care of before too many more venture down unknowingly. You see, the curse placed upon it is that it is very easy to delve, minus the obstacles that may get in your way. However, when you try to return, your body becomes weak. The farther up you try to return from, the weaker and weaker your body becomes, to the point of, and she takes out a sort of paper version of the map that you're looking at in front of you. She points towards the hole in the center with the sort of barrier of what looks to be clouds, and says, anybody who has gone beyond this point has had their body collapse on their return journey.
Hmm.
A point of no return once heading past that. But the running theory is that if you can get past that and keep going down past whatever lies beyond, that there is, well, not only treasure and so on and so forth to be found, but a way out.
But all of this is just hearsay.
Mostly, yes. We have no. Up until this point, we haven't had any good way to get information back from below the cloud barrier. And she reiterates, until this point, and she reaches into the drawer under her desk and on the table places a black bound book or journal. On the front of it is a skull and the words Mortician's Journal. She opens it up and you can see that all of the pages have this very faint light blue glow to them as she flips through it. Anything written in this journal will be transcribed into into these sister copies of the journal. So it is a perfect way to get information from below to the surface.
What is the minimum you would have to travel to begin contracting the whatever curse that you have mentioned?
The minimum? Well, even just going down to the first cliffs of the Martyr's Bluffs is enough to start to feel a little woozy coming back. Going down to the second layer makes it even worse. Most of the people who look sort of ghostly walking around, they've been down to the second ring. She points to sort of this area here being the second ring, with these cliffs up here being Martyr's Bluffs.
And this wooziness would be, is it permanent for those people, or is the length of it depending on how deep they go?
From what we can tell, it's certainly long lasting. I have yet to hear anybody sort of cure themselves of it without going, well, once they left here, I haven't heard much from them since, but we have no priest or cleric around here who is sort of willing or strong enough to cure it yet. So she sort of throws up her hands in a bit of a shrug. It is, as far as we know currently, a one-way journey, which I say as both a warning and for you to acknowledge that if you are going down there, there is a very large possibility that you may not be able to make it back.
Azidan sighs, and that is fine. Everything that is of value is on me currently. They look to like the door.
If you need some time to think about, joining us or whatever, you may take all the time that you need to discuss with your partner here, and just, you know where to find me. And she takes the journal and sort of taps it on the desk and puts it back in the drawer.
I'm going to go try something, and then I may be back.
All right.
And they'll get up and politely say goodbye before leaving, and try to find their way towards the cliffs mentioned.
Without too much searching, you realize that right here on the map, there is an actual pulley system that has been made to easily drop sort of adventurers down into the first layer of cliffs. Just from here, you can sort of look out and see the entirety of Martyr's Hollow. To give a sense of size, this place is around 50 miles across at the widest.
They'll make their way to, they'll ask around and ask where is the point where people start feeling woozy, and then head there.
Okay. So you go over and you take the pulley down.
Sure, wherever
There are no like sort of hills or anything to get down. It is just
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like a
yeah.
drop. Okay.
Okay.
You head over to the pulley system, and are asked to be let down, and descending down into the forests, you touch ground level, and you can see there's been some fortifications and other stuff set up here to keep wildlife and whatever from ruining this sort of system.
Yeah.
And from the sounds of it, from other adventures and stuff, this is all it really takes to start to feel that feeling going back.
Okay. So as soon as like they establish like this is the area and whatever, Azidan will dispel or unsummon Glacial and then make their way back into the top.
Mm.
Whatever area is immediately not where people are feeling like that.
Okay. So you take the pulley back up,
Yeah.
and once you are back on the surface, you it's slight. It's not a lot,
Yeah.
but you start to feel it.
Okay.
Sort of a lightness in your head, and a lightness in your heart as well. It feels like your heart is sort of beating slower, and
Mm.
it's not too bad. Like, this is certainly manageable, and you immediately sort of realize that this is probably how a lot of the more chipper adventurers who are sort of being busybodies around the place are managing to stay that way.
They'll look for a place like an alley or something to just like not call that much attention, and then go through the process of resummoning Glacial.
From Do you want to describe how this looks?
They'll find like a place with some like dirt or dust or whatever, and
Mm.
just start drawing some sort of like crude circle. Not really something. I wouldn't say practiced, more like going through the motions of it,
Mm.
and then chanting some sort of like not practiced speech just to channel enough mana or energy or whatever so they can manifest a physical form for them. And then Glacial will appear like touching them in some manner.
Cool. Hell yeah. And as she appears, you notice, and she would be able to mention that she is feeling the same sort of way.
Mm. They'll just nod to each other and like, because this was never like a, oh, like if this doesn't work, then we're leaving. This was just like a, this like we're establishing now if this is gonna work as well as we thought, or like it's still gonna work, but lesser. As in, will ask like, do you only feel it here?
Well, I started to feel it sort of as soon as you started going back up. I didn't feel it in the plains.
I see.
Feels like it's attached to you.
That is fine. You are the only one that needs to make their way back. The Azidan will just start walking to back towards the Mortician's shop.
We'll say this is probably around like no more than an hour later. So you walk in, and you see that Lilith is still sitting at her desk, just sort of going through some papers, and she looks up and goes, "Ah, you're back. I I'm now realizing I didn't get a name from either of you. I'm Lilith, by the way." And she puts her hand out and sort of stands up and leans across the desk and puts her hand out.
Azidan will reach or walk over and shake their very warm hand. I'm
uh,
Azidan, and she is Glacial. And then if Glacial shakes their hand, it would be as the equal to like going outside in the snow and touching snow and then shaking someone's hand.
um, You notice Lilith's face, shaking Azidan's hand, is like, it doesn't super reflect on her face, like immediately.
Yeah.
And then when she shakes Glacial's hand, like the customer service face breaks for like
Yeah.
just a second, and she's like, "Oh, lovely to have you two here again. Have you had your chance to talk it over?"
Yes, that we would love to be part of whatever you were doing.
Perfect. If that is the case, and she will grab the journal out from her desk once more and place it in front of herself and flip through the pages towards the back. And you can see that there are a couple entries sort of towards the back, but she turns to a new page, and you may write something together or individually. It is largely up to the two of you, but it is current tradition to write, and you don't have to be descriptive. I know that it sounded personal, but you are to write your sort of motivations for going down into the hollow here. If for some reason you don't make it back, or you fall along your journey, others can take up arms and help you finish whatever you were trying to finish. So, sort of insurance to make sure whatever your reasoning is for going somewhere where you may not make it back, your goals will be fulfilled. This isn't binding, of course. I'm not asking either of you to sign your souls away or anything like that. I'm simply ask for you to write. And I will press this to show players. You can move your mouse to motivations. You can see the little edit button appears, and you can feel free to take a little bit of time here as you need, and you can write down your own entry.
So I do want to add, when she's saying, I'm not asking you to send your souls over or anything, as an animal, it very quickly glance over to one of the skull motif items and look back.
It's getting slapped by Glacial akin to getting a snowball to the dome.
Almost.
I mean, kind of like a snowball with a rock in it if the the creature that was killed before is anything to go off of.
There's a rock in there.
Cool. Should just be what's written there, the to those who come next.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. And with that, Lilith smiles as the two of you finish writing. There is lodging here if you desire or need it. If not, there are plenty of inns about, and as soon as I get the chance, I will hunt everybody down when preparations are made, and your party will begin their descent.
And then I will just nod, or bow even.
Without further ado, I wish you all luck in your next couple weeks, and I will see you then.
Thank you. I will see you when I see you.